happening, folks? Gerald here, aka JFL90, coming at you with another reaction, another Diana Ross reaction, and I'm proud to say this is for a brand new song I had no idea even existed until like yesterday, but it's for the Minions soundtrack, and it's called Turn Up the Sunshine. Never heard it, never heard of it until, like I said, it was brought up recently because of the new Minions soundtrack. So definitely looking forward to hearing this. Love Diana Ross. She's a favorite of the channel. She's a favorite of mine, one of my favorites of all time. And I love that she's out here still, and I just love that she's out here still doing it in her late 70s and just making great music. Her last album was really good, really enjoyed it. And so gonna get to this, but before we do, need you guys to go ahead and subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. Next goal for the channel in terms of subscribers is 10,000. We can get there, but I'm gonna need your help to do it. And so now, without further ado, this is Diana Ross and Tame Impala with Turn Up the Sunshine. About this, the rhythm of how it's sung, it reminds me a little bit of Upside Down. It reminds me a little bit of Upside Down. I don't know. It's something about how she sings the verses that reminds me of the Upside Down. You're turning me. I love that. I love that very much. And this already, it's a love. It's a love. Dig it.
You want it, you got it, I'm with it if you do it like that. It's Friday now, when the colors of the rainbow. We gotta keep it moving, make a change so it don't change back. So hard to lose like that. Let's do it. All around the world. Turn up the sunshine. Turn up the sunshine. Sing about it. All the boys and girls. You turn up the sunshine. Turn up the sunshine. All night long, night.
Love it, love it, man. After, because it's funny, she just did great with the Jubilee last month and new song. I love that Diana Ross is still out here because, I mean, again, the amount of artists that we have that have 60-year careers is not very many, especially women, and then especially women of color. It's not very many, and so it is such a blessing to see Diana Ross still out here, still killing it, still just doing great. And my question, because this is a soundtrack song, of course, um, she has a great history of great soundtrack songs. From Mahogany's "Do You Know Where You're Going To," the Lady Sings the Blues soundtrack, which is where she played Billie Holiday, Oscar-nominated performance, and the soundtrack was her cover and rendition of Billie Holiday standards, legendary, legendary. But then too, in the '80s, you have "If We Hold On Together" for Land Before Time, one of my favorites in the whole world, and then one of my favorites in the whole world from the Land Before Time soundtrack. It was the score to the movie, I believe, and it's one of the earliest solo Diana Ross songs I remember I ever heard in my life, and I always loved it so much. I need to watch that movie. It's been a minute. Anyway, I bring all that up to ask you, what is your favorite Diana Ross soundtrack or soundtrack song? For me, it's rather hard. It, it's a kind of given. Do you know where you're going to? Just that song is everything. But then it's hard too because now, first off, the Lady Sings the Blues soundtrack is one of my favorite Diana Ross albums, but her rendition of Good Morning Heartache is maybe first. Well, I was gonna say it's my favorite rendition of the song. Period. Of Good Morning Heartache from the original 1972 album. I love her updated versions when she did Lady Sings the Jazz and the Blues in '93, but man, her rendition of Good Morning Heartache, incredible. It's one of my favorite songs she's ever done. And then also I love her rendition of Don't Explain. But so it's a little hard, but I kind of have to give a typical answer and say, "Do you know where you're going to?" The theme from Mahogany. It's just that song is so fantastic, and it's been covered a million times and by all kinds of really great artists. But her version, phenomenal. And I forgot too. There's the Wiz. There's the freaking Wiz, and that actually changes my answer. That actually really changes my answer. My favorite Diana Ross soundtrack song is her rendition of Home. And it's because her rendition that's in the movie, in the original soundtrack, it's Whitney has covered that song. Stephanie Mills originated that song. Great artists have covered that song. But Diana Ross, it's like it's through her acting abilities. She brings it to life in a way that no one else does. And that's the thing of a lot of artists that covered it. A lot of them are have much more dynamic and bigger, grandiose, million octave vocals and trainings and all that. But there's a humanness. There's a realness to Diana Ross's version that has me at the heart every time, every single time I see the Wiz, and it's a lot. So anyway, curious to hear your answers, and I hope you enjoyed this reaction. If you did, please go ahead, like, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. If you want to follow me on social media, that's in the description below. If you would like to donate and tip to the channel, I encourage you to tip all your creators if you can. That's also below, either in the description, and if you see the heart thing, you can click on that. You can also use that to sponsor requests. If you want me to do a reaction with my next recording sessions for If We Hold On Together, or a live rendition of Take Me Higher, one of my favorite songs by her, or a live rendition of Theme from Mahogany, Do You Know Where You're Going To, then you can tip and include that in there, that this is for you to do this reaction. I'm on it. Consider it done. And you can also do the same if you join my Patreon, become a patron on the Patreon. On there you're going to get cool things like early access to videos like these, Patreon only videos like these, and your requests, your messages, your comments, they all have a priority there over all other social media platforms because Patreon helps me live, and I like living. So it would be very appreciated. Shout out to my patrons, and above everything else, above all else, please take care of yourself and each other.
I can feel with everything that I want. My sweet love. Run with me, bang. If you didn't feel the pain, gonna get what you want. I can leave here with everything that I wanted.